All right, I'm here with Forrest Marek Beutel, and he's going to give you a little background on himself and his bands. He's a local bluegrass player and singer. So, Forrest, tell us about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in Rhode Island. Lived there till I was 23. Played music all the whole time I was there. Up and down the East Coast with a few punk bands. Moved to Tacoma 7 years ago, initially for school, and after graduating I just decided to stay because I love Tacoma and the people who are here. The main reason I stayed was because of the band I play with, Barley Wine Review, a traditional bluegrass band. And, I just like playing with that band a lot, so I decided to stay. And I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
So what'd you go to school for?
Psychology.
How's that working out?
Well, I'm a full-time musician.
So you are able to make it full-time as a musician?
Yeah. My ends meet most of the time.
And how does that work? I mean, if someone, especially in Tacoma, I always wonder, how do you make money? How does it work, like getting a gig or whatever you want to call it at different places, and how hard is it to do?
Well, it was hard initially. I play with the Barley Wine Review, like I mentioned. I play with another band, the Rusty Cleavers, and I also work a lot as a solo guy. And initially it was hard to get gigs around town, but at this point, all three of those projects have a good reputation, so it's not too hard to find work. It's a lot of hustling, though. It's not easy. It's a lot of time on the internet, emailing people and looking up different venues. And we work a lot outside of town as well, all over the Northwest. So, it's a hustle. It's a constant hustle, but I work for myself, and I don't do well with bosses, so it works out well for me.
So what advice would you give to up-and-coming musicians that want to break into the scene, no matter what music they play, but especially your experience with the bluegrass?
Yeah, just work hard and make good music. That's the key. If you deliver a quality product, then people are willing to have you, and stay at it, keep at it. Advertise through the social media, put posters up all over town, make yourself known, meet as many people as possible. And
are there easier places to get started?
You mean easier towns?
Like venues?
The Northern Pacific Coffee Company is a great venue for people who are up and coming. They have a good open mic on Wednesday nights, and that's a really good networking event. And then the owner over there, Ed, he's a great guy, and he's open to all kinds of music. So they have funk shows, they have folk shows, they have hip hop shows.
What about Treos?
Treos. Oh yeah, Treos. I've actually never played at Treos, but
I've seen a lot.
There are a lot of they support the arts
big time. Yeah. Sweet. So music influence, like bands and everything that influenced where you're at today. And it doesn't have to be bluegrass. No. Your inspiration.
It's not.
Because you said you were in a punk band before.
Yep. Several punk bands. My top three would be Guns N' Roses, Motorhead, and Hank Williams. Those would be my main three influences. Johnny Cash is up there. I love the females as well. Wanda Jackson, Aretha Franklin. Like I'm big into the soul and the Motown. Just good music, good music. But definitely Lemmy of Motorhead, Hank Williams. Those two guys they embody the spirit of what I'm doing.
So last year you came out with your first solo album in 2014. It's called If You Label Me, You Negate Me. So how did you come up where was the inspiration for that name?
It's almost a year to the day. Today is September 17th. It was September 19th that album came out. And I've sold 500 copies, that's a lot of records to move in a year. I'm happy about that.
Are most of those through the shows that you do?
Shows, yeah, just live shows. That's how you move records in this day and age, at least at the level that I'm at. The name, it is a Kierkegaard quote, and I learned it originally when I was in second grade and I saw Wayne's World for the first time. It's a line. Wayne says it when he's talking to Cassandra. If you label me, you negate me, and that seems like I've always loved that and always wanted to use it as a for something. And just where I was at a year ago and where I still am now, it's appropriate, and it's also if anyone's listened to the album, they know there are several Wayne's World references throughout the album, or maybe they don't even know it, but there are several Wayne's World references throughout the album.
So do you have when should we look forward to the next solo album coming out?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've got probably 5 songs ready to go. I'll need maybe another 5. I'd like to do a 10-song album, and I've been watching music movies to find the next theme. I enjoy incorporating the movie into it. Barley Wine Review is about to come out with a new album.
Oh, when's theirs going to be released?
We're going into the studio 3 days from now, and it'll be out. We're thinking mid-November. That's our goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Make a good Christmas gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So just since we're on this right now, where can people, if they're not at a show, go on and buy your first album?
It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify.
Can you order it through your website that you have?
You could email me through my website and I'll send you a copy.
And your website is?
www.forestmarekbeutel.com.
Now, do you book house jams, private parties, anything like that?
Yeah, we do house shows. My main man, Kevin Shintaku, does house shows at his house. And then other private parties. Yeah, I'll do just about any event. I'm really trying to break into divorce parties. I think that's an underrated market, and I think people should be celebrating that. So that's really what I'm working on.
So how can people contact you? Just email you through your website, or any other?
Website. I'm on Facebook, of course. You got to be on Facebook in this business. And
are you on Twitter?
I don't tweet.
You don't tweet. Okay. What about Instagram?
That's the one I want to be on. I just my brain is at a capacity for remembering passwords right now, so I have to get rid of something before I can remember another password. Too many passwords.
Okay, so I have a question for house jams. Okay, what is proper etiquette at a house jam? So you get invited, you go, should you bring money? Should you bring food? I mean, what is proper etiquette for that scene?
Yeah, I would say, bring whatever you want to drink. And if it's a potluck, obviously bring something to eat. I usually bring at least a 6-pack. And yeah, a little bit of cash for depending on the event, but especially if there's traveling bands.
So what would you say is a good rule of thumb? It's kind of like tipping. What would be a good rule of thumb for bringing cash for a band?
I mean, like $5 to $10, depending on how much you like it.
Per person or band? I mean, of course, if you could afford it per person, but
yeah, no, for the show. Yeah, for the show.
Okay. So, what is the most memorable time that you've played anywhere? Whether it's your punk bands, and why?
That's tough, Lee. I mean, right up there is playing at CBGB's. I had the opportunity to play 2 different sold-out shows at CBGB's, which was a legendary rock club in Manhattan, where, I mean, many bands got their starts there. That's where the Ramones got their start, and just Guns N' Roses played there, Social Distortion played there. All the good rock bands have played there over the years. So to get to play some sold-out shows at CB's was pretty cool. I love playing the festivals out here. We do a lot of bluegrass festivals, and that's fun. Just playing in front of hundreds or thousands of people. I get off on that kind of thing. My CD release show last year was a huge show, and that was just that was probably, you know, I got emotional at that show because it was so good. So.
You ever get stage fright, or did you?
Oh yeah, no, I get stage fright all the time. Most shows I get stage fright, but yeah, it would be weird to not get stage fright. A little bit of butterflies helps you perform better. Yeah.
So, what do you like best about Tacoma? Or things that you like about Tacoma, and also things that you really don't care for about Tacoma? Because all cities have pros and cons. And it can either be personal or it can be related to the music scene. Or both.
Yeah. Well, I like the plethora of good beer. There's a ton of good beer here, as there are, you know, most Northwest places, but it's very accessible here. You know, you go to a brewery and you meet the brewer most of the time, and get to learn about the beer that you're drinking, which is paramount. And the Chinese food is killer out here. I miss the Italian food of the Northeast. I miss pizza. I miss calzones. You can get good pizza out here. You can get good calzones, but you end up walking out of the place missing an arm and a leg. You know, on the East Coast, it's a very affordable, just because it's a competitive market. What don't I like? I don't like. I mean, this is the same as a lot of places you go. I don't like snobby people. In any scene, in any walk of life, really, you know, it's all of our shit stinks. So if when people don't think that, I don't like that. I don't like that bus fare has increased recently, and you can't get a transfer anymore on the bus. You gotta pay $2 every ride, where you used to be able to get a transfer to get onto other buses, but you can't do that anymore.
All right. So, as a musician, is it hard to have a lasting relationship because of your profession? And I guess that's based on if you even wanted one. Because, I mean, we're all different. Not everyone wants a lasting relationship. But I know there's got to be perils with, you know, you have lots of nice, young, good-looking ladies that flock around you. And I would assume if you have a partner that's, you know, could pose speed bumps in a long-lasting relationship.
This is really a question of the chicken or the egg. You know? What came first, the music or the problem with relationships? It's hard to say. You know, it's hard to be a one-woman man in this business. I think ultimately, in a fantasy world, I'd be doing this with my partner and be able to do it with a gal where we could travel together and do this as one of our projects.
Would you prefer your partner to also be a musician, or would that be...
Yeah, no, if we were on stage together, that would be great.
Nice. Well, there you go, ladies. All right, last question. How do you envision your future as a musician and just as yourself, even without your music? Where do you want to see yourself in the future?
It would be great to be able to do this on the long term, in a way that I made enough money where I could support a family. You know, you can't. The money I make now, I wouldn't be able to support kids. So it'd be nice to start. You know, the constant goal is always bigger and better gigs. That's the constant goal. So I see myself staying around the Northwest, but also just being on the road all the time, playing. You know, the great thing about my lifestyle is I'm able to travel to my family who is spread out all over the country and just set up shows where they live, and that funds my travel. So I'd like, that would be the goal, to keep playing bigger and better shows in the places where my family is, so that I can do this and eventually live a semi-normal lifestyle.
Normal for a musician.
Relative, yeah. It's relative.
Okay, I said last question, but that just brought up another one. So, is there any venue that you haven't played, it doesn't matter where it is in the world, that you would love to play at some point?
Yeah. The Red Rocks in Colorado comes to mind instantaneously. I really like theaters in general. You know, kind of sit-down theaters with great acoustics. I'll be playing with the Rusty Cleavers at Pantages this year on first night, and
The Cloves are going to be there too.
Yeah. So I think that'll be my first experience on that kind of theater stage of that magnitude, and if I could keep doing stuff like that, but I mean, just big venues with good acoustics.
All right. Well, thank you, Forrest. And for everyone out there, Forrest gave you his information. Why don't you repeat it one last time, Forrest, for how people can contact you and get your music or book you for a house jam?
Yeah. Well, look me up on iTunes. Again, my name is Forrest Marek Beutel. That's the spelling. 1 R, the correct way. Middle name M-A-R-E-K. Last name B-E-U-T-E-L.
All right. And soon to be on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Instagram's coming.
All right. Thank you, Forrest.
Thank you, Lee.